There's a heart, a hand to hold on to. Everywhere you look, there's a face of somebody who needs you. Everywhere you look, when you're lost out there and you're all alone, a light is waiting to carry you home. Everywhere you look.
And we're unmuted and we're live. Hey, everybody. What's up? What's happening? Welcome to the show.
Yo, yo, yo.
All right. Yeah, we have a great night planned for you. We're excited about everything that's going to be taking place, especially knowing that we've got a couple co-hosts here who have some consequences to face. You're looking at one right now, front and center. You've got Mariah here, who is an intern for ABC 21 News. She's trying to show her best.
I'm just
best
starting
look.
the new TV fashion trends. What can I say?
I mean, it's a good look. I mean, if anybody could rock that look, it would be you. And the fact that you're wearing a cast right now that nobody else can see. Well, you can see it at the bottom.
Yeah, the cast is legit.
Yeah.
That is not fake.
No.
That is the real deal.
The boot just adds that final touch that I needed.
Really, it's a great
it
look.
completes the look, I think.
That is awesome. Hey, what all do you have on there, by the way?
Well, I got my haunted clown suit. Shout out Walmart Halloween, really cheap. Had it in my closet. But I also have this fluffy scarf thing and my favorite part personally, this cute little piggy hat.
That's
yeah,
good stuff.
shout out Byron for the hat.
And
Well,
then tonight
impressed.
also, just for those who are joining us, and we are here with everybody. If you are not in a small group, we have small groups that meet throughout the week. We got 2 going right now. We're wanting to get a 3rd going on. If you are not in a Zoom small group, you can email me at bvongunton@pccfw.org, and we will get you connected. The nice part about it is you don't have to travel to anybody's home, and frankly, you're not allowed to. And so you can join a Zoom group remotely, and it'll be excelente or something like that.
Yes. Please take us up on that invitation. We've already started helping get people connected to small groups. And so, if you're thinking, well, I've never been connected with them before, I don't know what it's going to be like to reach out. I promise you, we want you here. We want you to be a part of this. We want to connect you to some of our small groups because ideally, we would love to connect with you after the show is over. It's one thing for you to participate with us, but it's another thing to be able to interact with you face to face, or at least screen to
Speaking
screen.
of participation, we've got some random tools up here on front display, and we're going to give out a prize for who comes up with the most creative use for those tools. Now, they don't have to be used what they're actually meant for. That's actually the whole point. We don't want them being used for what they're meant for. We want you to come up with something creative, something unique that those tools can be used for. So use your imagination. Best comment is going to win. We're going to vote on that as a group here at the end of the night.
Yep.
And we have a really fun device in which we'll be giving away.
It's a tough set of judges up here, especially Anna out in the back. She's tough. So you're gonna have to be really creative if you want to win this prize. Byron, do you want to show them what the prize is?
Oh, yeah, we can do that right now. Go ahead.
So I don't know if anybody here has a pet, but we're actually giving away a cat toy. So here's what we're giving away. So as you'll see, I don't know why somebody would spend that much money to make like a tech toy for a cat. But as you can see, this is a cat drone. It'll train your cat to run up and down ladders, and it will also train your cat to be a professional fighter. So if you got a pet at home, you're definitely going to want to win this prize. And if you don't, well, then I'll take it. So, basically, this is the prize. So you could win it. It's not actually a cat toy. It's a drone. It's a fun drone. It's actually really fun. My wife and we spent all last week playing with it, and I'm low-key hoping that she wins. So
Who knows, if you're creative enough, you might just get the cat.
I think
bet dogs will like it.
Hey, Bartholomew is not the prize. It's the drone.
Has anybody ever taken their dog,
Dang
their
it.
cat out on a walk before? Can you do that? Is that even realistic?
My roommate did, but they just ended up dragging the cat on the sidewalk. It wasn't walking. Yeah.
So my wife is like, my wife really, really, really wants to take the cat for a walk. And I'm like, Deidre, I don't think that's a good idea. But apparently everybody's been telling her. I don't know who's been telling her that. If you've been telling my wife it's a good idea for us to take our cat out for a walk, I've got beef against you. Because guess who ran out the door this morning when I left, or this afternoon when I left? The cat now thinks he can go outside. He took off. He almost made it to the street.
He's like, freedom.
Awful. But
I'm out of here.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's the prize we're giving out is the drone, but we also have something else. So I don't know if you guys
Catwalk.
watched our first episode, but we're pretty legit about getting these prizes out, and we actually gave out a 2,000 piece Pokemon puzzle. All the prizes we've been giving out have been random stuff from Byron's office, and so
I have more.
Kyle and Tyra have
Quality.
successfully completed this this puzzle. Let me go ahead and show you the photo here. So as you can see, this beautiful man next to this beautiful set of Pokemon. If you're a Pokemon fan, let us know in the chat. I am. I know Byron's son is, but he's 6 and I'm 23.
Wow.
So you can be Pokemon fans any age. Anna's a Pokemon fan, aren't you, Anna?
Huge Pokemon fan. I don't think I know anything about Pokemon.
Same.
All you have to know is Pikachu.
Yeah.
That's
It's
the yellow
pretty much
one.
it.
The
So
yellow guy.
So that's what we got. That's prize wise. So win that drone, participate, come up with something really creative, whatever this is. Byron, I don't even know what I'm looking at. Could you
Yeah,
please
what
explain
is
to me
this?
what those are?
I tried to make it a work of art, but honestly, I don't exactly know what all those tools are.
There's
The
multiple
the
tools
audience
up here?
has
What
to
is this?
decide
So should
what it
do they
is.
come up with what they think all that together?
Yeah, they got to
They
come up with
do.
creative use for all those tools.
All of it.
We're
all of it.
thinking
If they
outside the
actually
box.
use it for its legitimate for, kudos to you because I don't know what they're all used for.
Ah.
But we don't want that. We want it to be something unique because that's how we use our brains. We get creative.
Yes.
Thinking outside the box.
So
Deidre says a cat scratcher.
yeah, well, we're not going to review them yet, but we will at the very end.
Cat scratcher.
So let's
I feel like it would kill
more
the
like a cat slayer. I mean, these objects are sharp.
Hey, when we have
But,
Ron on the phone, by the way, stay tuned. Our senior pastor, Ron Williams, is going to be interviewed.
It's gonna be
We
great.
should
By the
ask
way,
him about his love for cats.
does he love
Sure.
cats?
You have a- yeah.
No, he hates them.
Oh,
It's an ongoing
really?
joke.
he can join the club.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and we'll talk about our consequences or the challenges that we've been doing throughout the week. So obviously you can see that Mo is wearing a pig clown Mardi Gras outfit. But we had somebody else fail their challenges this past week. So if you haven't been staying tuned to the show, we set challenges for ourselves that we were going to do for 3 weeks. And if we failed the challenges, we had consequences. And the reason why Anna and Mo are suffering is because they failed to work out regularly throughout the week. And so Byron and I have been very successful. I've not been working out. I knew that was going to be very difficult for me, but I tried to challenge my mind. So I've been learning how to play the piano. And Byron's been doing P90X.
Yep.
So very,
Not
I
sure.
mean,
how.
look at the physique of this man over here.
I
You know,
think I've
guys,
lost about 10 pounds. I'm not
You
kidding.
could be shredded just like
Gosh
him,
dang.
but
I know,
instead you're
I
forced
feel
dressing up
ashamed.
and eating mayo.
Oh,
So
my heart is pounding.
I feel like I'm
Just
winning
looking
at life
this.
right now.
Oh,
if I'm
we're
being
looking
honest.
forward to seeing you eat that mayo there.
So let's do it.
Stay tuned. You don't want to
No,
miss
let's do it
this. She's
now.
about ready to like dive into.
Let's
a
do it now.
What
Big
if I
spoonful.
can't swallow this?
You force yourself to swallow it. You don't have a choice.
hey, everybody, let's give a round of applause for Anna as she embraces her biggest
Okay,
fear.
This is a huge
No, the
spoon.
whole spoon.
Yeah, it's a
Huge
tablespoon.
The whole spoon. You got to eat it all.
It's yummy. It's just some whipped cream.
Yeah, just think of it as whipped cream. Let's see this go down.
Okay, I think that's pretty good.
No, bigger. That's good. That's good.
A dollop. We
All right.
need a
Okay.
big dollop.
I feel like we need to zoom in on this. You just scooped some off.
I promise. Okay, there's some more.
I can see
Maybe
you.
we
I'm
should
watching our
stand
screen.
up
All right,
right there,
guys.
front and center.
Yeah, stand up.
We
Come
don't
on.
need to hear you. Just stand up in front of the tools.
The
I'll
tools
go-
what I
Does
broke my
Somebody wanna
foot
go
on,
grab the
Deidre.
trash can for her just in case.
No, well, she'll be good.
You're probably
Just
right.
walk
Well, if she
right
pukes, she's
there,
gonna
right in
puke
front
on
of
me. I don't know
them.
how I feel about this.
Oh yeah, this is gonna look good. Down the hatch. Let's go.
Anna, Anna,
Anna, you can do it.
This
Yep,
Oh, let's
all
see this
the
go.
way.
Just take one big swallow.
Yep.
Let's go. Go. Oh, that wasn't that bad.
You got to get it down.
You gotta
Come on.
swallow. You got it.
Oh, no.
No.
I thought she was going for the trash can.
She's gonna like. Oh no, this thing's gonna go flying.
You good?
Oh, I'm good.
Hey, everybody,
She
give it
got
up
her
for
water.
Anna. She did it. That's impressive.
Round of applause.
Yes.
Wow. I don't know if water's gonna wash that out.
That was bad because it was like continuously swallowing it down. Oh, I had to think of.
Man, I
all the
feel like-
people who were going out.
I feel like I
food
need
tonight.
something for my wallet here. I don't like
Oh,
this thing being in my pocket. It's kind of like flatten out. Hey, nobody take my money, okay?
my eyes are.
We'll try not
watering.
to.
Hey, so
I'm
Byron,
crying.
Yo,
How- so we've done this for 3 weeks. What are we doing now? Like, what's
Oh,
well, my suggestion is we either keep continuing our challenges and we change the consequences.
Yeah.
Or if you feel really ambitious, you change up your challenge to make it a little more difficult. So, like Colin and I, we've so far successfully completed our challenges. So maybe we need to make them just a little bit more challenging.
whoa? I was gonna
I
switch mine
agree.
up because I want to do something different. I don't know if I like piano anymore. Well, but let's tell the audience why we're doing these challenges.
Okay. The whole reason why we're doing this is because during this time of quarantine, we had a choice to make. We could choose to just try and survive and make the best of it and not really do a whole lot, or we could choose to become out of this better. And so basically, it was a 30-day challenge to become better.
3 week.
3 week, yeah, 3 week challenge to become better individuals. And the main focus was to grow spiritually and to grow either intellectually or health-wise, physically working out. And so Colin chose the keyboard, I chose working out, the two young ladies here chose working out, and all of us chose a God time.
And I will say, I think all of us successfully did our God times.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's
Go
pretty
Jesus.
that's pretty awesome. The fact
mean,
that like
I put a little caveat saying I would do mine at the 7 o'clock hour. And there were sometimes I was at like 7:45, so I was on the
Still an
verge
hour.
of not getting it into 7 o'clock hour, but I succeeded.
so here's okay. Let me pitch this. Do you think it's gonna snow anymore?
Ooh,
Oh.
I hope not. I don't want it to snow anymore.
I have
I'm
no
done.
expectations for
I don't
Fort
think
Wayne.
so.
Because here's what I want to do. I've been waking up at 8:30 and doing my quiet time from 8:30 to 9. I want to go on a walk while I'm doing my quiet time in the morning and spend time alone with Jesus as I'm walking around. Because most of the time I'm listening to the scripture on audio using the YouVersion app, and I feel like I get some exercise while I'm doing that. Anyway, so
There you go.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Do you,
I feel like it won't. If it does, then
It has a chance. It's Indiana. You never know
This
what's
is
going to
awful.
happen.
okay?
almost May.
So then,
Rain or shine, Colin.
It'll at least be freezing. Maybe not snow.
okay. So then, what do I do then? Because this is what I want to do, and I want
Put some
to hold
boots
myself
on.
accountable to it, but I don't want it to like be miserable. Like I want to enjoy my time alone with God, not feel like I'm suffering.
Yeah, you're not going to really have until it's like May, June. Well, especially May, it's going to
Yep.
be really difficult.
Okay. Well, I'm going to do it anyway, and
Okay.
then we'll
I like it.
Good. You're going to get some exercise while we're
spend
God
time with Jesus.
Very cool.
What do you mean? Oh, hey Anna, nobody can hear you. You're talking too far away.
My
Corn pops.
father.
Corn pops can't hear you.
What's up, Dad?
Nice having your
Or
dad
Graham.
watch. That's a great name, Corn Pops for a dad.
Corn pops.
Yeah.
We've been trying to figure out who you were for like
Yeah.
4 episodes now.
Let's
we
just
finally
not
know who
talk
it
about
is.
it.
Iconic name, I gotta say.
All right, so let's get into what it is we're actually going to do for our challenges for the next 3 weeks, because we do not know exactly how long it is we're going to be having to stay socially distant. And so we need to come up with some good challenges to become better people. I'm going to continue with my workout because it only gets more difficult. The next set, I'm on to phase 2. And they did like a week of like preparing you for this next phase because it sounds like it's going to get really hard. And so I'm looking forward to it. At the same time, I'm kind of dreading it. And then I'll continue to do my God time at 7 o'clock. The only thing I can think of that would make it more challenging is if I were to say, I'm going to add to it, I'm going to try and get to bed by 11 instead of staying up till like midnight. But I don't think I want to do that. I think I want to just continue with getting up at 7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and like if you're disciplined enough to wake up at 7 o'clock, does it really matter what time you go to bed?
It just helps that you have more energy the next day.
That's true.
But
That's fair.
I think I need to stick with mine because as Mo and I have experienced, they're still pretty challenging for us. I've been doing a good job of waking up at 9 and doing my God time, but just continuing to work out 30 minutes a day. That's the
And
that's
if you
the
would
hard
like,
part.
Deidre has been doing, my wife, she's been doing a little dance thing. Not dance thing. It's kind of like a,
It's
like an
there's
aerobic.
hit workouts,
Yeah.
there's dancing workouts.
Have
it's
you
like
joined
a
in?
variety.
no,
fun.
but she's asked me to. And I'm like, no way.
if you
Why
join in,
not?
we need a-
Join
if you
the
join
girls,
in, we
Colin.
need a
You should do
camera
it.
set up of you dancing.
What do you mean join the girls? If I recall correctly, you were not there today when she came in and
I
asked
was
me.
not.
She had
I
to
was
bribe my
watching-
sister. to
I was
participate in that.
watching church. because-
Audience, should Colin
Sunday.
join
No,
Deidre
please.
in her dance workout?
No.
And if he does, he should definitely take a video,
Yes.
correct?
No.
My
no.
vote is
Okay.
yes.
If
No.
we have enough people saying
Absolutely.
yes, if we have 10 people say yes, he will be doing that this week.
I didn't agree to this.
It doesn't matter. You're doing it.
You have been voted.
Imagine him just dancing along with.
Yeah, come on, guys.
Yep, everyone's saying
This
yes.
is
All right, this is gonna
ridiculous.
happen.
All right,
It is
fine.
happening.
Oh yeah, I love it. Aaron's correct. If the wife wants, you say yes.
No, that's not. That's
we,
not how it works.
we just got to make sure Deidre screen records.
Oh
so
my
we can show it
goodness.
on the
No,
show.
Set up a hidden
I don't know if this is a good idea. Yeah.
I have such a bad taste in my mouth.
Well, this is turning into a
Breathe.
hot mess. Hey,
Look,
Kara,
everybody wants you to do it.
Kara, I was just kind of starting to like you, and now you're going to vote for me to do this. I don't know about this
All
anymore.
right.
But hey,
Well, Mo, you're staying with what you were doing.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
how are you gonna
I'm
work out? That's what I wanna
conflicted.
know.
That's what I'm
yes.
saying. I've been doing like ab workouts, and I can do like upper body, but I'm
True.
one thing I think I might if I change it, because school has been a struggle. The thing is, it's only until the end of April, which is coming up. So I don't know if I should like do a school related challenge now, because my motivation has been so down for school. Like,
I feel like there's still there's still a couple weeks.
yeah. And I
Finish strong.
have
Yeah.
so many projects that I haven't even started that are going to be due. So
that'd
I
be
feel
good.
like I need to like challenge myself to like do it in the morning or just have something done every day, because I'll go days without doing school.
Yeah. Or
Which
like
isn't good.
wait till the last second
Man.
to do it. That's yeah.
I got
Yeah.
a 17-page paper due on Friday. Ooh.
Have you
I have a
started?
What's it over?
12-page Spanish paper.
Well, it's for my world religions class. And so we
Yeah,
kind of got
that's
to
not
pick our
fun.
final project, and I'm writing mine on Judaism,
Cool. That's
Interesting.
which is
interesting,
actually
Wait,
very
today's
insightful,
Sunday.
but it's 17 pages. And
Yeah.
Brent wants to see me
Yikes.
dance. I'll do it for Brent. That's Pastor Brent in the chat there. Well, I guess we can kind of talk about what we're actually going to talk about this week. Do you wanna
Yeah,
start
we
introing
changed it
that?
up a little bit. We're still doing the habitudes, but we're not doing the self-leadership habitude for this week. We're changing it up to one of them that's about leading others. And one of the habitude we're going to talk about this week actually involves getting our very own senior pastor, Ron Williams, on the line because this is one that involves leadership, kind of setting the tone for how an organization functions and runs. Because as an organization, we can get caught in our ways and kind of sticking with the same routine over and over again and not realizing that, hey, if we don't change, we're going to fall behind. And so this habitude that we're going to look at is called the Bit Market Habitude. It's this idea that a corporation made all these different types of drill bits. Have you guys ever used a drill?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
I'm
once
sure
or
I
twice.
have, maybe.
Once or
Maybe
twice. Do you
not.
have a drill at home?
I've got a screwdriver.
So if you had to hang something that used a wall anchor, could you do that?
We would use a hammer and a nail.
But not a wall anchor.
What is a wall anchor?
I don't know what a
A
wall,
wall
is.
anchor, you drill a hole and you put this kind of plastic piece in there that a screw would go into.
Well-
It'll hold up to like 60
Oh,
No,
I've
actually,
seen
okay,
those.
no.
My
We
friend
would,
ruined her wall doing that.
but we'd use the screwdriver. We just screw it in.
Yeah.
Okay, so you wouldn't use a actual.
Because a drill is like a zzz, right?
That's exactly
Yeah.
what it is. Can you do that again?
Goes right into the wall.
Anyway, that kind of sets up with what I was talking about with the drill bit company. With all the drill bits they were making, this new president was in charge of the company and he was given the tour. And all the leaders in each area were bragging about how much money they made, how they were leading the nation in drill bits being sold. And at the end of all this tour that he was on, he addressed the whole entire company. And when he addressed the entire company, he said, "We're not in the business of selling drill bits. We're in the business of filling holes. That if someone comes up with a better idea for filling that hole or making that hole, we're out of a job. The method is the drill bit, but our job is actually to
Make
create holes.
Yeah.
And if we're not careful in leadership and in organizations, we can get really caught up in our method. And church is actually kind of notorious for getting caught up in our methods and forgetting what the whole is. Because the gospel is timeless, but how we present the gospel changes with each generation. And so we're going to talk about that here tonight, discuss what that looks like. I'm going to give a quick example of what that can look like in church before we get Ron on the line.
Yeah, let's hear it. What's your example?
My example is my grandpa actually helped build the church I grew up going to, literally built it in the 1950s.
Sweet.
He was a church planner. And my dad was 3 years old when this church was built. And so that was the church my dad knew from basically 3 years old. And several years ago, I had a chance to have a conversation with my dad about church and the things he saw change and happen and take place. And for you guys, you've gone the pathway, small groups of what you've always known as kind of the discipleship, way to grow. You're in a small group, and that's how you grow and you're discipled. Well, that church was known for Sunday school, but Sunday school was not something that people wanted to be a part of when it first started. It was brand new method for how to do church. It was cutting edge. And when they first tried to launch this, the people were upset. They were not happy. But once they got used to it, they loved it.
Which is hilarious because I've never not been alive with Sunday school.
Right.
The fact that people were resistant to that when it's basically become a necessity for churches at this point.
So around the late
Just everyday norm,
1990s, early 2000s, Sunday school became now the new small groups became the new cutting edge way to do discipleship. So churches who were always doing Sunday school had a really hard time changing to
small groups.
Yep. To where they still do Sunday school now. Now we're in a new era where all of a sudden we can't even be physically present in church. I mean, we're here in a church building, but we can't gather together with 100 people, 1,000 people.
So wait, hold up a minute. Are you implying that we went from just a regular church to Sunday school to small groups now to the future of what we could be doing?
Yeah, I'm implying that
This is
we're
basically the
looking at
Genesis.
what is it going to look like
the
for
new
church
frontier
in the next several months, the next several years, because this is going to set new habits in people's lives the way we're living right now. And how is that going to affect the way we do ministry?
Yeah.
And the things that we loved about church and ministry may not be the same when things get back to normal.
Right.
And so that's why we're having Ron get on the phone with us, and we're going to ask him some questions and just to talk about what this has been like to be a leader of a large organization, a large church, and setting the tone for a staff and how we do ministry, and just kind of get his thoughts on what that's about, what that's been like for him, and maybe where he sees things headed. So Mo here, she's our ABC 21 News intern, and she does a lot of interviews. She's going to take it away from here. Colin, you're going to give Ron a call on your phone.
Yes.
And that'll come over, and we'll all be able to hear in just a few minutes. All
right,
seconds.
Ron, I'm going to be giving you this call now, so don't let us down, man.
We're very, very professional here.
All right, here we go. Hello. Oh, my goodness. You're live. Welcome to the show,
I am
Pastor Ron.
live.
Hello,
How we
Pastor
doing?
Ron. What an
Hey.
honor.
Well, my honor.
Aw, well, thank you. Like everyone's saying that you just took this time out of your day to join us on the show. Like Byron said, we're talking about this habitude of the drill bit and how the importance really in times like these is the results and the goals that we're going through and not necessarily the methods. So my first question for you is just, what was your initial reaction when just in response to everything going on in the world? Was it something that you ever anticipated having to work around?
No. I will be real honest with you and tell you that when I was watching what was going on in China, my thought was that, okay, it's China. It's how they would deal with things. It seems a little drastic, but I just can't anticipate that we're going to experience anything like that here in the U.S. And surprise, surprise, here we are. And so it's been, I've moved from obviously being, I don't really think I'd ever use the word skeptic. I just did, I guess.
Mhm.
But I was probably more questioning, the extent of it until it got here and until I, had some close to me that began to experience it, and then suddenly everything changed, and realized we've got a real challenge here in front of us, especially once the government starts stepping in to make allowances to kind of flatten that curve. And I was in some meetings initially that caused me to walk out of those meetings realizing we are really in a very serious place here.
Mm-hmm. And I think you weren't alone in that. Who could have anticipated something like this? It's unprecedented times for everyone, something we haven't seen. So yeah, I think you, along with a lot of other people, were just thrown off by this, but that's where leadership really comes into play. And my next question for you was, what did that process look like as a leader and as a team, just coming up with your next steps in response to everything going on? How did you just decide how to structure things?
Yeah, we for one thing, one was that we really wanted to be responsible to what we were being asked to do by local leaders, by our mayor, by our governor, by our president, by our medical director here in Allen County, and my posture, our posture was, we're going to do what they ask us to do, and we're going to step into this, and we realized this is going to really change some things up for us, and I really think initially everybody was thinking maybe a couple weeks, and then as the days went on, we realized, no, this is going to be a whole lot longer than just a few weeks here. And so at that point, really began to sit down and realize, okay, we're not going to be meeting on the weekends. And so we've got to make the adjustments to go, to really make the live platform, the next venue. We've got to start making sure that our other ministry areas are going on that platform as well. We had to realize we're going to have to create a page that's going to focus around COVID-19 and what are those ministry pieces that we want people to have easy access to. And really for me, it was also with the staff, kind of coming to a realization that what we had to do is we just really had to flat level everybody and say, right now, where you're working or where you're assigned to may not be where you're going to stay. And what we have to do right now is we have to push ourselves out of the office and we have to push ourselves into the body. And so we started making some decisions as to how we were going to go about that and making them sense that we really, really cared and we were interested. And so we went that most vulnerable age group first and began to make calls and pushing that way. And then just began to have conversations about weekends, and weekends have to go on and the rest of the ministry areas have to go on. So how are we going to do that?
Mm-hmm. And yeah, I think this is just this whole situation. There's no better example of having to be flexible, having to think outside of the box and really use your creativity. Everybody's just deciding what to do in response to this. And my next question was, what were some of your biggest challenges just working around this? And did you receive any backlash at all? Because like Byron was saying, like with Sunday school, they come up with that idea, but nobody liked it at first until you realize this is
what
kind
was
of
that?
a necessity.
The what school?
Sunday school.
Before you got online, Ron, I shared a story about my dad. When he was younger, they first started Sunday school at Decatur Missionary, and it was the first time it ever been happening in like the 1960s, and it was considered cutting edge ministry. And at first, they didn't want anything to do with it, but then once they started doing it, they fell in love with it. Kind of like how we do small groups ministry now. So
that's funny because it reminds me after I came to Christ, I was in my 20s, and I ended up at this church with this pastor that was just a remarkable guy. I still get with him periodically, and he was telling me that one of the greatest battles he faced was when he decided that he wanted to purchase a copying machine so that they could actually print off outlines that would go in the hands of everybody on the weekend. And the letters he received of where is this church going, and we are going down a track now, bringing technology in and all this stuff. You're sitting there going, "Wow, you got to be kidding me!" So. Anyway, but backlash, I don't think we got any backlash. I think what I really felt that we needed to do was be nimble. And I think that's really key, even as we walk through this. When you think about this, I walked through 9/11. Certainly we've been through a few wars here, even since then. But this has felt much more chaotic. And maybe chaotic's not the right word. It's just been harder to get your arms around it because this is one of these things where, and I think this is key on leadership, is that, in seasons like this, you've got to be nimble. You've got to be willing to make adjustments along the way because this thing is, we're constantly changing. We don't know what the target, everybody's thinking, well, the target's going to be in May. The governor's going to come out and let churches begin to meet. Well, that probably is not going to happen the way some people think it's going to happen. Mm-hmm. And so we're going to have to just continue to be flexible and to work hard together and to do our best to serve the body and serve the community, and most of all to communicate the gospel as we've been doing it. But it's just going to mean, I think the hardest thing with this has been that you just cannot get your arms around what this is going to look like in the end. And the fact is, I don't think it's going to look like anything like I think it's just everything's going to look so different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
Well, I actually have a question, if that's all right. Can I ask it? So, in this process of moving forward nimbly, do you think it's more important to just take things week by week, or really try to plan ahead for the long haul?
I think you got to do both. I think there has to be, week by week can wear you out. And, so for instance, for me, I like to know where I'm going the next week. I may not have the blueprint laid out, but I've got a pretty good idea topically where I'm heading and, from a teaching perspective. So I want to know where that's going. I think you got to plan that way. I think you have to make adjustments there. I mean, I was in a series on 1 John. I really felt like, you know what, I just don't think this is where we need to go right now. And so after Easter, I didn't announce anything. I'm making a change. And I've not, I had to look back over, the 18 years I've been at Pathway. I don't know if I've ever stopped a series, ever dropped a series in the middle of a series. I've extended a series, but I don't know if I've ever dropped a series. I may have dropped a Sunday, 9/11 would be a good example of that, but I don't know if I've ever dropped a series. And so this is one of those where I thought, I think we need to make a change on this. But I think, Colin, I think you have to have, where are we going this week? And we have to begin, actually, those are some of the conversations, and I'm actually taking some time off this week to actually think through some things too personally. But, we've got to begin to think about, what is the next 30, 60, 90 days hold? And just begin to process, what could it be like? What are the things we need to start doing now? So I don't know if that answers your question or not. But,
well, it does. I mean, it's just like, even as Byron and I are working towards, what's the future of SNL, our college and young adult program, it's like, we don't know what this is going to end. We're trying to do is, be as, I guess, diligent or as fruitful as possible with what we're doing. But it's just like, you never know. You never know what's going to happen.
Yeah,
so.
It's just thinking outside the box and looking at it from a different point of view than what you ever had before. The idea that you're so used to having people gather together, and now your main form of communication is online.
Yeah,
and that's just
it is, but I think you can also. It's like what we're doing right now. Our first bracket was let's go after that most vulnerable age group. Let's make sure everybody gets a phone call.
Yep.
If not 2 or 3 phone calls, and now we're going through the entire membership and attendee deal where actually our elders, I handed off 150 names to them just last week, and 100 different family groups, and say, hey, let's begin the conversations and let's find out as we go through this, let's let people know their value. Let's find out if there's a need. How can we address that need? And that we want to make a connection. We want to connect. We want to do that. And so I think the key is that programmatically how you do things may get tweaked along the way, which is what we're doing right now. We're all trying to figure that out. But the truth is that who you are speaking to, that's really where your focus has to be, because what are people, for you guys, your generation, what are you experiencing right now? And what are the emotions? And what are the challenges? And I think we're already seeing it too. I even said it a few weeks ago. I said, the next step of emotion that's going to come out of this is going to be anger, because people have lost things. They're grieving things, and we got to deal with grief. We got to deal with loss. You got to deal with the issue of anger. Now you're seeing, throughout the country, some protests showing up and that kind of thing. But I think but there's a sense of hurt and of just loneliness and of fear and worry. People are, and it doesn't matter where you're at on the spectrum. Everybody, there's so much uncertainty attached to this thing, because we're seeing this global, we're just sitting back realizing this is such a globally, this is so significant, so big, and it's having just such and it's going to have a ripple effect for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So, but you can't forget who you're ministering to.
Yeah. And that's kind of like with the whole drill bit concept,
Yeah.
who you're going after is kind of like those holes. Like that's what it's about at the end of the day. And that's what you have to adapt to, is reaching those people.
Right.
But yeah, this last thing I wanted to end on, this might be a difficult question because like you said, and like everyone's saying, this is unprecedented times. Nobody really knows what's going to happen. But I think one thing we can agree on is that there's a new normal that's going to happen as a result of this. And there's going to be some changes implementing in all sorts of character or categories. And the church is just another one of those. And what do you anticipate, to the best of your ability, that new normal being? What do you see from where we are now?
I think new normals are clumsy. When you're trying to come up with a new normal, the best way that I could ever describe it, and I describe it to people this way, especially when you come out of a crisis or you come out of a loss or whatever it may be, you're having to learn to walk all over again. And none of us remember learning how to walk. I mean, maybe you guys do. Maybe I'm an old guy, so my mind doesn't go back that far. You guys may have a clear memory of that. But,
I don't think you're alone. I don't remember learning how to walk.
We don't remember getting up on our knees. We don't remember getting up on our feet for the first time. We don't remember hanging on the walls. We don't remember taking those first few steps. We don't remember how wobbly we were, how clumsy we were. What we do know is we learned how to walk, because we're walking now, and that's normal. But getting there, it felt clumsy. It was clumsy. And I think that we're going to have to really give a lot of grace on this one. And that's going to be difficult in some ways, but I think the new normal is, I believe, and I may be off on this a lot, but I think the social isolation piece is creating in a lot of people a desire to connect. I think there is a churning going on that we were created for touch. That's the image we get in Genesis of God forming man out of the dust of the earth, of breathing into his nostrils. There's an intimate physical connection that takes place in that creation event. And we were made to be touched. We were made to be in community. We were made to be close to others. And I think that that's going to be a huge piece that I really believe is still going to be a high value to the church. The challenge is going to be is that it's going to feel really weird for a while.
Yeah.
And I think everybody's going to want to do it. But I mean, I don't know. Have you guys noticed it? If you've been in the store,
oh yeah,
you walk in and you see the face masks now.
Yep.
Everywhere. Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait.
You know what?
I can't wait till we show up at church and everybody's wearing a face mask. You're going to have such a beautiful sight to look at, Pastor Ron.
Yeah, it'll happen. It'll happen. And and that's okay if that is a comfort level for people. But doesn't it feel to you guys a little bit like, I just feel like because you're missing the smile, you're missing the expression, you're missing the face.
Wow.
And so, we're just going to have to really figure that out. There's going to be some oddity to this that we're going to have to bounce around on a little bit, and it'll be okay. But I think it's important that we take it serious and that we embrace it. But I think the other thing too is that I don't know. I'm trying to figure this out. I think people are, we got to give them some joy, and
amen.
We know that comes
Amen.
through Christ. Yeah, I mean, it's like we're so down and out, but yet at the same time, this is heavy and this is weighty, and people are experiencing a lot of losses. And whether it be my senior in high school that didn't get to finish her senior year, that's a loss. Whether it be a parent that lost their child and at an old age, and they can't get to that child, or they can't get to that funeral, or a spouse that's got a spouse or a loved one in the hospital, they can't get to them at that point, or the loss of a job, or the loss of a business, or the loss of some finances, everybody's really dealing with a lot of facets to this. But yet at the same time, I really think that God is using this. I really believe this. This is a season where people are searching in a deeper way. And that's the one thing, is that I think a lot of times we think, well, when we open back up the country, it'll go back to the way it was before. I don't think so. And I think we're going to have some great opportunities. People are searching. People are, what a remarkable time to be the church. And,
Amen.
you know, and to give that kind of hope. And so anyway, I don't know how it's going to look. I really don't. I think some things won't change. I think if you look all the way through at the beginning, when Peter gives that very first message and thousands come to Christ, the teaching of the word has always been profound and powerful and meaningful. And I don't think that's going to change. I think that there's still going to be the sense of realizing there's something amazing about taking this ancient text and speaking from it, and people go, wow, that was like it was speaking right to me. And you're going, well, that was the Holy Spirit. But it's also the fact that the Word of God is powerful, effective, sharper than any double-edged sword, penetrates the very depth of the marrow of our bones. And it's still alive, and the Word is still alive. So I don't think that's going to change. The method may change. The method's going to change. And you know, so anyway, that's probably didn't answer your question thoroughly, but,
I mean, how do you answer that question, honestly, though?
yeah,
You
can't.
All I'm going to say is I got chills. I'm ready to go. I think you're so right. Let's bring the world joy, and let's just keep preaching the good word and watch God transform people. That's so encouraging.
Yeah, keep doing what you guys are doing. I think you're being nimble, you know, and you're trying to figure out what are those key issues of those that are listening online right now. You know, what's going on in their heart, and the truth is that if there's something stirring in their heart, there's an answer to that, and there's some perspective in all that, and we know that it comes through Christ and through His Word. So keep giving that kind of hope.
Thank you so much, Ron, just for joining us today. I think at the end of the day, it is encouraging in the midst of a time like this. Everything's changing. Nobody knows what to look forward to, but they do know that God is the same today, yesterday, and tomorrow, and that we just always have that 100% steady thing to hold on to with Him. So just
right. And realize too that this is all momentary. This is all momentary trouble. We're in trouble. Everybody's in trouble. It's momentary. It will pass. We will get through this. And your life can really be shaped in a positive way as you walk through this. As you continue to trust the Lord's leadership in your life. I just really believe that.
Absolutely. I'd agree. Yeah. But yeah, well, thank you so much. We enjoyed having you on the show.
Yeah, thanks for taking the time.
Thanks, guys. Yeah.
Great stuff.
All
right.
God bless you. Have a great rest of the day.
Will do. See you later.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
Bye.
I want to unpack that.
Yeah,
that
definitely.
There was,
That was powerful.
he said something really early on. Man, I'm losing it. It was after the second question that Mo asked, and I'm trying to remember what it was. Oh well, I forget.
I asked about how it looked as a team and as a leader to structure the church in the midst of everything. That was the
I don't remember. I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch the video and then ask the question to Byron later or something. I don't know.
But the truth is, like, you hit on it, that I mean, the word is not going to change. The life-changing factor of who Jesus is and how that truth speaks in their lives, that's not going to change. People are always going to be hungry for that. But how we go about getting that to them will change. And then just the reality that, I mean, that's part of who Ron is, the emphasis on making sure there's a personal touch with every person. The fact that every member is going to get a call to see how they're doing, to see what they need and how we can be praying for them. That's huge. I mean, like, what would happen if we did that for every college student and young adult in our database? How would that look? What kind of impact would that make?
Mo, you want to start making phone calls?
Sure. I got all the time in the world now, just chilling at home. So
yeah. So, I mean, it's really a huge challenge to think about. And just kind of meeting people where they're at, really asking what is it they want, what is it they need, as opposed to going, well, we've always done it this way, so we're just going to keep bulldozing through it, even though everything else has changed for everyone else around them.
Just to FYI, everybody in the audience, I've been doing a really bad job of switching our banners. So at some point in the mix of this, there should be an interview banner, but it's not. So I apologize.
That's all
Trying
right.
to, it's the hard part of running tech and trying to participate in the conversation at the same time, especially when I don't have very much experience in tech. But anyway, Anna, you had like a very great reaction as we were talking, as we kind of came away from that. So what was like a big sticking point for you?
I just after hearing what Pastor Ron had to say, the thing that has stuck with me through this whole like quarantine is like, so the church we are always seen as kind of like different people, right? Like the church is kind of like almost like the outcasts a little bit, but it's like for the first time, we are seen as like normal. Like people have this just hole inside of them through like all of these things, whether they lost something, whether they're grieving something, and they are craving this hope. And it's like, that's what we are called to do as the church. And it's like, we have this gospel message that is so powerful, and it's going to look so different in how we share that. But it's like, that's just what stays constant through this whole thing. And it gives me chills. It really does.
It's like you said, what a time to be the church. And I think that's just like so powerful and of a perspective, seeing that we have this opportunity in front of us. This isn't something that's just like scary and unfortunate and unusual for us, but it's an opportunity unlike anything we've seen or anyone's seen ever. It's a global pandemic. Like the whole world is suffering these consequences from COVID-19. And I think that's something that we should just be so willing to serve people in the midst of everything going on. And everyone in the church should be seeing this as your opportunity to serve those around you, to be that connection with people.
Right.
Because it's like he said, this time more than other times shows just how much people crave community.
Right.
And how much people crave connection. And Colin, I remember you saying like since this started, you felt like you've had more connection with people.
Right, because I'm doing this. I'm Zoom calling. Well, I'm Zoom calling people I wouldn't talk to. My family's got a family Zoom call every Tuesday night now. And we played Jackbox games through a Zoom call. And these aren't family members I wouldn't see except for once a year on vacation. And maybe if I get around to spending time with them in the holidays with my family situation. And being married doesn't help. But I see them every Tuesday. I mean, leverage the technology that we have.
Yeah. So I got a question for the three of you. You're of the emerging generation. I'm the old guy in the room. Do you feel like what we're currently doing as a church is meeting the needs of the emerging generation? Are we doing, because everything's changed now, we're no longer meeting at a building. We're no longer meeting physically. Is what we're doing reaching your generation? Do you hear from the people who are your friends, people who don't go to church? What are they doing right now? Where are they turning to? How are they filling that hole right now of self-isolation? What can we do? Or what is being done? Is it being done well enough?
Yeah, I think there's this shift happening right now where people once craved going back to normal, where now it's, okay, what is this new normal going to look like? And because things aren't ever going to go back to normal, it's going to be new. And I think
Wait. When you say ever go back to normal,
like back to normal as in, I don't know. I just think things are going.
Well, they say the
God's
handshake
up
is
to
a done
something,
thing.
and it's
We
Like-
won't ever shake hands again.
No way.
That's one thing they're saying that's going to be eliminated.
like it's just learning how to
Whoa.
adapt, and yeah, it's it's mind blowing. It really is.
I can't.
Question here.
I can't do it.
Are your friends and people you know engaging in community online through the church? Are they watching church
They're
services?
searching for it. Yeah, I have
Okay.
friends who have never watched church before who are, and they're like, "What church are you watching?" Like, it's
I don't know. I could be wrong. I think one thing I've noticed just from social media posts, from my own experiences, I think our generation we're so used to things kind of just coming to us, community just being so easily available, and it's so easy to just fall in that trap of laying in bed all day and scrolling on TikTok for hours upon hours instead of really connecting with people that are around you, just because that's what's easy, that's what's available to us. I feel like I've seen a lot of things about people being depressed, people just not knowing what to do because it's scary. It's weird times, and I think what we need now, and again, this could just be me, but I think what we need is really just a kickstart, just like that motivation, because I think that's something that I've just seen a lot of people lacking in during these times, and I don't know exactly how to go about that. I mean,
Well, I think
nobody.
what I'm noticing is that like I don't we definitely don't have a lack of Christian content. Like there is so much out there right now. We really don't need, oh my goodness. Was what I said that bad?
You don't need to
knock
hit your
something
phone.
over?
Just let it go. Just let it go.
But we don't have a lack of Christian content. There's so much out there.
Oh yeah, like I'm gonna go home tonight and I'm gonna watch Church Out in California with my wife.
Right. So the what we don't need is more like, when I say like spiritual encouragement, I mean like from, like pastors or preachers, like where I just can't come to church on Sunday anymore and hang out with people afterwards.
Yeah.
Like I would hang out in this lobby for like 30
And just talk
minutes
to people. And like
and just
Pastor
talk
Ron
to
said,
people.
we are wired for
Right.
relation.
And I think
So
I was on the phone with a buddy of mine the other day and like felt such a need to like hang out with somebody, decided that like they were going to like exclusively hang out with each other so that they weren't risking anybody else, but needed that so much, that friendship, that bond. And these are like really strong Christian guys who know who their God is, but they still desire that. Like if we can somehow find a way to bridge that gap of like that real life interaction with somebody else, that I think is what our generation needs the most. Because look, let's face this, all these college students, they just come home, they were living in the dorms with their friends. Now who are they living with? Their parents. They're lacking that interaction, like that physical interactions with other people. I've seen young adults go get Starbucks, pull up in a parking lot, and just sit like 6 feet away or like 12 feet away in their cars just to be near somebody.
yeah, that's
There's
what I did
something
last week. Yeah.
Yeah, there's something
Wow.
so much different than like, it would be weird if I Zoom called somebody with a Starbucks and like we both just had our Starbucks, but like something of being in that same area
Presence.
made a difference.
Mhm.
And so like, I wonder what that means for us, because like, I'm just going to be completely honest. I don't think Zoom is going to solve our current problem. Our Zoom, but I think it's a temporary hold. And I think we're getting a lot out of it. Like my Zoom small group is getting a lot out of it, but I think people really need that. I know I just talked a lot there, but I just feel like I'm venting because I've just been hearing it so much.
That's what I'm hearing from a lot of you saying, like, yeah, we're getting social community online and we're doing small groups and we're consuming Christian content. But what we're really lacking, and never thought we'd actually really miss it, is literally being physically present in a room with other people. Like how much we actually need that and how that actually is so hard. I mean, like I said, it's just hard for me to go to the grocery store and walk around and be like, okay, you're 6 feet away.
Even
Yeah, you're
avoiding
6
eye
feet away.
contact with people in the grocery, it's like, can't even look at you.
Yeah, because I mean, should you be here? I mean, really? Yeah. It's just such a strange world we live in. But at the same time, I do believe that if all the entities out there right now, we should be the most innovative and creative
100%
group out there impacting the world right now.
All I'm saying
And-
is
Right.
drive-in church. That's what I want. That's what I want.
That's already being done. That's already being done. But like how we do things, how we even format the content we create. I mean, I love watching late night talk shows now because they're doing it in a unique way. They're literally doing it from home, using what looks like Zoom and coming up with creative content. Saturday Night Live just last week, they did it all completely from home and made it look like, I mean, they didn't make it look like they did, and they did creative skits being in different places at the same time. They leveraged it, and it was hilarious. It was fun to watch.
Right.
And then just recently, I was online today watching a church, and they did worship in which they all did it, the different musicians in the band from home. And this wasn't like, I don't know how to put it, but it was done real so well, but it made you feel like you were more with them than watching a band on stage.
The way it was filmed.
The way it was filmed.
Yeah.
It made you feel like you were a part of it in the living room. And I was like, wow, that's amazing. That was really creative. That was innovative. And so I just wonder sometimes, what is it that, how are we going to reach the next generation? How are we going to reach people? Because our attention spans right now, they say, is 7 seconds.
Wow. So for those of you who are still watching this an hour in, props to you.
Yeah, no kidding.
But no, Byron, I mean, honestly, that being innovative with the way that we film things, and then also helping people in general reframe their mindset. Sav, the high school pastor here, gave a great message this past weekend for our high school students about just the way that we think about certain things that are happening to us. And honestly, I wonder how much things would be different if everybody in the church decided that I want to be a part of the change that's happening, instead of looking at it from the perspective of, okay, I need them to serve me in a new way. I need them to serve me in a new way. I need them to serve me in a new way. What if they were like, what if everybody watching this was like, hey, I want to be a part of the forefront of change, looking about how I can spread joy to the people around me and be a part of the reason why people are able to stay excited about, what God is doing at the time. Because like, I don't know. I feel like the reason why I haven't gotten super down or depressed through this whole thing so far is because I'm just thinking about how to continue to spread the gospel and utilize what we have.
It's having purpose.
Having purpose. Yeah.
Purpose is one of the most motivating factors you can have. When you have a purpose in life, you have something you're going after. That's part of why I took on the challenge that I did. I wanted to have something that I knew I was going after. I needed challenged. If I wasn't challenged and I was left to my own devices, I could become incredibly lazy and unhealthy. But when I have a challenge, something that I'm going after, it motivates me.
Yeah.
For instance, like the emerging generation, wanting to reach your generation. That's a purpose. That's something that's really motivating to me. It gives me a challenge. Yeah. Yes, I have my relationship with Christ, and that's the number one most important thing. But he's wired me in a way that I want to make a difference in this world.
Right.
And so having that, what I'm going after, and I think for a lot of people during this time, they've lost their purpose, their identity. And so how do you find purpose in the midst of?
So maybe that's what we strive to do,
Exactly. Yeah.
I feel like it starts with really taking a step back, looking at your position and deciding, what are you filling yourself with? What are you investing your time in? Because it's like, this is me and Deidre and everyone in our group. We're doing like a plan together, and it's about identity, kind of what we talked about. One of the verses, it's my favorite, that we had gone over was Proverbs 4:23. And it talks about guard your heart, for everything that you do flows from it. Everything that you do flows from it. Like, even if you spend hours on TikTok and you tell yourself, like, this isn't going to be what's coming out of me, like, I love Jesus, that's what's going to come out of me, people are still going to see that.
Right.
And I think it's so important to take a step back and really self-reflect on what you're spending your time in. What are you investing your time in? Because there are people that need us right now. And if you're not filling yourself with the right things, it's not going to come out to others. You're not going to be able to bless others.
Anna, do you have anything to add to that?
I don't know. I just like get this picture in my mind of like Christians are like beaming with light. Like, picture this with me.
Beaming.
Like, yes.
Radiating.
Like,
glorious.
Like God, it's his power. He's just like radiating. I don't know. And
I think you're radiating.
I
right
see
now.
the people who are just like
boom.
so desperate, like our neighbors, even if it's making a plate of cookies and setting it on somebody's doorstep. Like, the most unique opportunities are like given to us right now. And how are we taking advantage of that? But it's like reminding yourself of that every day too. Because so easily, like you said, Mo, we can lose just purpose and perspective. So yeah.
Well, let's wrap things up
Yeah.
here. We're going to be closing out here. Did anybody come up with a really good idea, imaginary device?
Yeah, my wife had a great idea, I think.
What's that?
Well, she did have a great thought, but actually somebody else had a really good thought too. Okay. So Deidre has a couple of ideas. First, she thinks that could be a water bottle launcher. So we could probably test this.
No. Slingshot?
Can we like
Catapult it?
Yeah, can we
I feel like I'm gonna get punched in the face.
maybe a broken face and a broken leg. Can we try
Yeah.
this? Can we try
No,
one?
you're not going to be able to do that. That's not going to go anywhere. You can try, but it's not.
Oh.
That thing's heavy.
Sorry, Deidre, I
I
don't
thought
think.
it
Well, if we
moved.
took that thing and smashed it really hard, that might have worked. Austin says the blue chisel could be used as a nail to hang the other items.
Okay.
Sorry, Winky, you just kind of used the tools and said they're going to keep them as tools. I don't know about this. Deidre has another thought. She says the yellow and blue tool is a toilet plunger, and the other thing is a toilet paper catapult for when you run out of toilet paper.
That's a great idea.
I think it's a great idea too.
What did Taylor have something here?
Taylor
She
has
said,
something.
Yeah,
Yes, let
the
me go
tools
find
are
it.
used for the drone landing strip and takeoff lane. The blue and yellow tool is the air traffic control tower.
Which I
Oh.
also think is great. Can we test this?
We don't have a whole lot of time.
Okay, well,
I know. It's getting.
people are still watching.
They
They're
are still
entertained.
watching.
It's not like we're trying to hold anybody's attention. If people leave during the outro, it's not a
Yeah.
problem, you
All
know?
right.
We're just big
We see
chilling.
that, and we got to test these out. This is good.
So, yeah. Oh, a guinea pig slide.
Oh, I can see that.
That could be,
Who
maybe.
said that?
That was Taylor again. Do you have a guinea pig, Taylor? Just out of curiosity. Oh, yes. Kind of like last week how I was flying this around Colin's head. He's actually
The
gotten
tower
pretty
is
good at
guiding
this.
it. Oh.
Yeah, that was oh, no.
Don't break
Just
your
stop.
laptop.
Just stop. All right.
I hope you have good control over this.
Did we have any other ideas?
It's like dying. All right. We'll let it go.
It's going on its own now.
Okay.
Unfortunate.
Anyway, hey, so I don't know who we're going to give this away to. I really have no
obviously.
clue. Sure, we'll give it away to Deidre since she loves it so much. You guys got to play with it. You have a
Wait,
officially.
nah, I feel like that's not fair. We shouldn't give it to my wife just because I think we got to actually vote.
We'll give
He
another
does this
contest for
every
next
week.
week to try and win something. But yes, actually, Deidre can win. We'll give it to Deidre this week.
Really?
Yeah, you guys now have your
Every
officially
time Deidre
own
wins, and
cat
then
toy.
Colin's like, I don't think she should win.
Cat's gonna love it.
the cat will love
Taylor says no.
No.
Okay. And then I guess here's the closing thought. And here's something that's really been and I know I kind of hinted on this a little bit during the episode, but I really do feel like my generation in particular, I'm not going to speak to anybody else's generation, but our generation in particular really needs to analyze and look at what they can currently contribute in the midst of everything that's going on. Like we talked about the starving baker already, about this idea that Mo brought up, you got to feed yourself before you can feed other people, really guard your heart. We talked about the golden Buddha, this idea that you really are valuable on the inside. Like you are so extremely valuable. You have something so significant to contribute and God wants to use you. The question is, how do we get our generation to step up and say, I'm going to do something. I'm going to be a part of the whole, that I want to be a part of the drill bit. Like I want to be like, I think that's how we move forward. I think it's just by us deciding we're going to step up. We're going to participate and stop looking so much inwardly and saying, how can everybody else serve me? But instead look about how we can participate in the movement that God is doing right now. And if we, Byron, the church can somehow inspire that in people, I think that's when things are really going to take off.
Mhm.
Because we can't do anything about the physical distancing right now. There's literally nothing we can do except for,
Coffee dates in your
coffee
car.
dates in your car. I mean, there's really no way to solve that. But if we look at the problem as an opportunity, I think that's when things are really going to change. So, well,
And real quick here.
Taylor says the answer was I have a guinea pig.
Yeah. Hey, last thing here, because we do want to create community. Zoom
Yes.
groups, join one up on the screen. There's one taking place right away after this
Yes.
with Mo.
Two of them.
And if you email me, I can get you in that group ASAP. And then also
It'll be a
Colin's
good
group will
time.
be meeting at what time?
at 8.
At 8 o'clock,
Our normal
okay.
times. My small
Yep,
group,
so
we're
we
meeting
can
at a
get you in
normal
one
time.
of those right away. Just email me and I'll send you a link. And then the other thing I was going to say is Thursday night at 9 o'clock, we are going to do, what's that game called again on Zoom?
Thursday at 9. Okay, so have you guys played Quiplash before?
Yes, we're going to do
play
Quiplash on Zoom, and we'll put a link out there for everybody to join in and to participate, and it'll be a ton of fun.
I think it's going to be great. We've done it. It works. It actually works really, really well. So if you're like, I miss board game nights with my friends, hop on in. So, all right, everybody, we love you. God bless you, and we'll see most of you soon. So,
All right,
see you later
next week.